Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's. What is this? This is our TRI Crypto 100. I guess I'm not screen sharing with you guys, eh? So, FYI, everybody is staring at Derek's handsome face right now. I don't know whether you're aware of that. No, just kidding. Let's see. I've got to screen share. Everybody on the YouTube page is seeing, if I'm not mistaken, let's see what the heck we're seeing. You're seeing the TRI Crypto Countdown, right? Is that correct? I think that's right. Is that what you guys see? The Hangout?
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah, and it looks like Adam C is over there on YouTube. So hello, Adam C. Nice to see you. And there's Nick's over on YouTube. He's got them covered. So also too, I don't know. I posted the YouTube video in the lounge, so I hope anybody who wants to watch can see that. So welcome aboard. I think we got a few people here watching tonight. Not too many. Probably more of a fun sort of chat about crypto and the direction of the market and stuff tonight. Obviously, price came off quite substantially there near the end of the day. So I would imagine that the sort of the temperament, if you will, probably a bit sanguine right now. I did notice that pretty much across the board, prices are coming off. Here's sort of my fun little crypto matrix, I suppose we'll highlight here. Usually I do that, then I go move forward. I'll do that again. Forward, and then like so. There we go. So not the most optimistic of pictures. In fact, maybe a little bit sanguine. And as you kind of saw, whether it be crypto or things like the stock market, the whole risk market just got punched in the nose. Interestingly enough, even the commodities got punched in the nose pretty hard near the end of the day. Why? Actually, I spent quite a bit of time in our site's sort of daily video. In fact, it's called the Daily Brief. But I think Brian took about I was going for the record today. What was it, about 2.5 hours? I think, Derek, were you? I don't think you were the only one that was able to make it through. And I don't even know whether you made it through the whole show, did you?
It was closer to 3. So you were.
It was closer to 3. Oh my goodness.
I think it was closer to 3.
So, and that's the problem with the Beamish, right? The Beamish gets talking and he starts talking about markets. I used to have an old boss of mine who said, Brian, I don't have to worry. All I got to do is just stand you up on stage, hit the on switch. Looks like I screwed up the YouTube page, didn't I? Maybe that's why only a few of us are watching tonight. I was wondering why that was relatively quiet.
Well, today's is going to be filled with alpha, so we wanted to keep it to the community, apparently.
Do we want to? I mean, we don't have to talk to the public. I have
zero
I don't
alpha
care.
to give, so.
Pardon me?
I have zero alpha to give, so we can open it up.
Okay. We'll do a public. There we go. So we'll save it as public. I don't know whether that's going to switch over. I don't know what happens when you do that. So, I guess, if anything, like Nick said here, and actually I'm just going to close the door. I'll be right back.
And I'm not sure if you can hear me, Brian, but I did refresh it and it no longer shows unlisted, so I think we're good.
I turned the temperature down. Sorry if it's too hot in here. Sorry about that. Got to talk to my roommate, make sure he's happy before I go blabbing away for a couple hours here and filling the airwaves with nonsensical rants. Anyway, so I was saying there before I switched the video over to public that we had about a 2.5 hour daily brief today because I wanted to try and walk through everyone how the interest rate market works. Like, anybody can really figure that out. Yeah, good luck, Brian. The damn central bankers can't figure out how it works. How are you gonna fucking figure it out? But I thought I did a half decent job. Derek, did it make sense why the free market instrument, the euro-dollar market, is really sort of tying the Fed's hands here?
I mean, I got the point that you mentioned that kind of does dictate what the Feds do, and that sort of they have to keep. What I got from it is that it has to keep. The Feds basically have to adjust to keep track with the euro dollar.
The euro-dollar market.
The euro dollar
and,
market.
a lot of people will confuse the euro-dollar market with the euro currency market. It would make sense, right? Wouldn't they be the same damn thing? But it turns out they're actually very, very different. Yeah, Constantine, you remember that, eh? Of course, Brian had to get up and yell out the window once more. Vancouver is an absolute bubble real estate market that's going to pop any day now. Just to remind everybody how foolish they are if they go and buy real estate here. So I thought that was kind of fun. But anyway, so we had a lot of fun in the Daily Brief today. And unfortunately, it's a lot of macro stuff that... if you sit and listen to a lot of crypto podcasts right now, I bet you like a very strict crypto audience would actually have a really difficult time figuring out what the fuck is going on. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, a lot of them are, I mean, I've listened to a little bit today, and a lot of them were like, I told you so. So they're not really pointing to the reason as to why. It's almost like they're saying, oh, this, we were telling you, months ago that this was going to happen. So it's not really... And that's what's the problem with this whole kind of crypto space is that, it seems like nobody really has the experience to speak from a lot of different levels. Like they just put out calls and sort of, if they don't work out, then they reverse reverse sort of their posture and whatnot. And it's a mess. I mean, but from what I heard today from a couple of people was not really even speaking about power or sort of the larger macro sort of influence. They were more talking just in terms of like just crypto, almost like, yeah, we told you this was going to happen. Expect 70-80%, whatever, retracement or, return to lower levels. So
it's interesting that and I've heard this a few times, which actually leads me to believe that I think the market's actually going to rally here shortly. But I'm hearing a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, no, we totally called that. This market was going to break. Everybody was calling for it lower, which means to me that actually I think the market's going to turn around and go screaming back up here. But we'll see. Only time will tell. I will say, though, that the backdrop of the market, I think, has changed materially. And unfortunately, one of the sort of key drivers of the whole growth engine here, especially since sort of the beginning of the crisis with COVID, which ironically enough was, I mean, hell, Bitcoin was down there to like $3,000-$4,000, eh? So unfortunately, a huge driver of this huge melt up here has just been the fact that money has basically been free. And I get the distinct impression that money is no longer free. So I don't know whether we're really in sort of meltdown, throw baby out with the bathwater kind of market state, though. And I find it fascinating, Derek. You're not the first person to say that to me today, where actually a lot of people in the public are actually feeling pretty negative. And that's not usually how markets break. Usually markets top out with everybody and their brother being over bullish. Just, oh my God, over the top bullish. We're all going to get rich. I don't know. I mean, I'd be really surprised. The irony of it all is if we go straight down, because that is a V top up there. If we go straight down, we might just hit Mountain Man, run some stops, and then go screaming right back up, considering how negative the sentiment's gotten here. One thing I did notice in the stock market today, but maybe, why don't we, before we get into any of that other kind of talk, I just wanted to start off the conversation today with, it's not just Bitcoin. It's not just cryptocurrencies that are coming off here. The whole damn risk market kind of just shit. I mean, I know we're not supposed to swear, but I don't know any other better way to describe it. I mean, the whole risk market basically just shit a brick here today. They did not like what they heard. And more importantly, and I think this actually speaks a lot to my thesis, which you're all going to hate, but I would actually argue that we are now, and actually we started, and you could probably even see this on the price charts, like if we look at these, well, we won't look at these commodities, but if we look at like gold and silver and oil, I'd actually make the argument that we entered into a bear market for commodities. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess you don't really see it in the metals, but I think you actually see it in the oil. I think we actually entered in like 15-year bear market right here. And so as of this point here going forward, I have to be bearish of like a commodity like this for the next like 15, 20 years. I would actually make the argument that the market actually put in the market structure sell signal right there. So that actually has started the 15-year secular bear market here. And of course, in typical commodity fashion, and you know, the worst part about this is I mean, if anything, the baby boomers, they do everything in style. I mean, ironically enough, that's an image of a weekly price chart, but this actually went to like minus forever, right? Where's the, so I don't even, how do you even value something like this? It's incredible how they're going to have to really like redefine the value of these assets. What I wanted to show you was, and you guys probably remember this, right? I mean, there's the bear market. Went all the way down to minus $40 a barrel. How does that even happen? But like the baby boomers do everything in style, right? The baby boomers took the NASDAQ up to absolutely insane peaks, right? And the dot-com boom and all that nonsense. That was, well, I don't know that I can do this or not. So the baby boomers, and I remember this, right? This is Nortel Networks. And actually, how ironic, eh? It's just a shadow of its former self. But this was the baby boomers heading into their peak earnings years. All right? And then this is the junior Bush market because they killed them all in tech stocks, and nobody wanted to buy a tech stock. So what did they run up during the junior Bush market? Well, that was the housing crisis. Sadly, actually, that was really what destroyed this economy was that the commodities market and the housing market. So remember that's Junior Bush's term. The baby boomers ran up the NASDAQ to just absolutely insane levels, and I've told you stories about things like Nortel and stuff in the past. And then during the Junior Bush time frame, right, baby boomers fucking us all over. There's the base. Ironically enough, there's Senior Bush's first Gulf War. And this is Junior Bush's bull market. And literally, he and Cheney and all those fucking crooks all ran out of Washington right through here. They literally scurried. They're like rats fleeing a ship. Obama was elected. Change. And he had to literally spend the next 5-10 years just picking up the pieces of this absolute financial collapse. So, ironically enough, Obama couldn't do anything because he had to spend the next 10 years picking up the pieces from what Junior Bush did to us in the oil and the housing and the financial services market. So, I mean, it goes back and forth, drives you crazy. But anyway, like I said, the baby boomers, they seem to be doing everything in style. You know, when was the last time you heard of somebody like, oh, I want to go fill up a tank of gas? Great, we'll pay you $20 to fill up your tank of gas. I mean, when does that happen? But theoretically, that's what should have happened here. So, how does this economy move into the next cycle? I don't know. But what I do find interesting is I would actually be like a US dollar bull for, easily the next 10, 15 years. And the worst part about this, I think this is the absolute worst part about this, is I've been a US dollar bull all along here. Just rah bull, bull, US dollar bull. Went even out and put my money where my mouth is and bought call options all through here and here. I'm a US dollar bull. And it looks like my calls, I bought the where's the best place to show you? And it's just it's a trader just being honest with you people, because I did hear one person who was critical of me about 6 months ago. He's like, oh, you're always right, you never say you're wrong. Well, I'm just going to show you how wrong I was. I in essence got the direction of the market completely right, bought the $26 call options, and look at what these fuckers are going to do to me. Right? I mean, basically this option is going to expire worthless, right? If it doesn't expire above this 26 level. So, I mean, go figure, eh? And that's the market. I used to have an old buddy of mine who used to say the market is a cruel mistress. I mean, I've been bullish at US dollars. You guys have heard me say I've been bullish at US dollars. And yet, I can't seem to make money trading currency options right now. So, go figure. Anyway, at least I'm being honest with you people. I'm not bullshitting you. But I would still be a US dollar bull. And hell, this option still has a couple weeks of life left. Maybe they'll ramp it up here. My hunch is the option expires, and then you're going to get a massive rally in the US dollar. That would just be Murphy's Law, right? So, anyway. Here is that US dollar index itself. I think that is an interesting consolidation period here, and I wouldn't even be surprised if there were a lot of people that bought the LEAP options, which are long-term equity asset participation securities. Basically, they're long-term options. And the currency guys know that there's a whole bunch of people that are long the January call options, so they're just going to park this thing until the day after options expire. As soon as that happens, woohoo, up we go. So, anyway, keep your eyes on that. If anything, what I should do is go buy another call just to piss those guys off. Just whatever you do, don't break risk rules. I mean, I throw like maybe $500, $1,000 at these currency trades, so I never like risk, bet the farm on any of these kind of bets. But if this trade had worked and we gone up here, it would have made me a good 5-10 G's. It's just, God, I think it's just a bit of bad luck on my part. I'll still tell you guys, man, 2021 was a challenging year for me. Lost a bunch of friendships. Don't even understand why that happened, but man, I had a tough 2021. So 2021, good riddance. Let's get on to this 2022 and start making a positive difference in this world again. The only problem is, of course, you look at the market, and I think Mr. Benner is going to be proved correctly, and you guys don't want Mr. Benner proved correctly. So when I say Benner now, do you guys know who I'm talking about and what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know you're referring to that chart, but I'm not sure exactly who Benner was in terms of what years are going to be good and sort of bad for making money
in the market. Yeah. And the interesting thing is that, he wrote that chart for 1 million years ago. And yet the interesting thing is he's basically saying that the market should bottom 23 and should rally into 24 and 25. And we know that the Chinese have this Belt and Road big initiative for 24, 25. So they really want to jazz that up. And we know that the Fed, usually when they do their interest rate raising cycle, it's like it's usually about 18 months. Like I said, I spent a great deal of time with the site peeps. You can see this is the last interest rate rising cycle. So there is 2008, 2009 financial crisis. You can see them take rates down to nothing. Then you can see usually the period of sort of raising interest rates. If we just sort of, what looks like we're about maybe here. So to the point of where they're raising interest rates, 800 days. So what is that? That's just about 2 years, right? A little bit more than 2 years. So what a surprise, 22, 23 as a write-off, because we're just going to be going through a Fed raising cycle. So there's another reason why I think that Benner cycle plays out. And then what I think is probably the most compelling reason for crypto kids is this halving cycle. And I've been saying this now for a few years, and frankly speaking, I think it's exactly the same damn thing, is you're going to see Bitcoin probably bottoms about 75 weeks prior to the next halving event. And through that 75 weeks to the halving event, we'll probably put in our weekly base. The halving event will happen, and then here we go again. I mean, that's just the way this thing works. I don't understand why more people aren't cluing into this. So, in fact, what I even did was, you can see there is the double bottom, right? I tell all site people, in fact, and actually maybe the three of you can attest to this. Do we not tell you in the level 1 program, what's the one thing that you want to be looking for if you're thinking about investing? Weekly what?
W's.
Way.
It's just that simple. Weekly W's. And your Bitcoin here is a perfect working example. You can't get any better example. So, use the Bitcoin chart as a reference. I mean, can you not see that W? I mean, maybe I've been playing this game so long I just see these things in my sleep. But can you guys see this W down here? Is it obvious? Down, up, down, breakout.
I feel like if I wouldn't have went through the education program, I'm not done with it, but it wouldn't be as easy as it is now.
Okay.
Like, I did have trouble seeing like non-third grade W's when I started.
Okay.
But
maybe it just takes time. It might just take a lot of time. Like the previous cycle, this is what the W looked like. This was a difficult one. Down. Do you remember who was it that actually quit Bitcoin right on that red candle right there? Do you remember that? I would know that you know the Bitcoin story if you can tell me what this event was called in Bitcoin land. Right there. Actually, it's interesting. I listen to a lot of people that are quote-unquote experts on cryptocurrencies. I couldn't believe it. I spent a lot of time, and I don't mean to be rude to this gentleman, because I think he's a nice guy, generally speaking. But now, I couldn't believe it, but this gentleman now is dubbing himself a cryptocurrency expert. When I saw that, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Do you think he has any clue? I know he knows for certain. Because ironically enough, our last Bitcoin bull market, we actually, this is a great anecdote if you don't know this story. Do you guys know this story? What's the story around the last Bitcoin top and this gentleman here?
I don't recall. The last Bitcoin top in, no, I'm not sure.
17, 18? When Bitcoin broke through 38.2, this is Richard Hart, and he came on social media and he started crying. And he was like, "You broke my Bitcoin! You broke my Bitcoin!"
I do remember him saying that. Not just.
You remember? I've made reference to that a few times. That just kills me. I always. So this guy's smarter than shit. This guy's fucking ill, and it's so funny listening to this guy right here sort of talk circles around this guy. And I spent lots of time in the Daily Brief talking about that. I won't go on to it about today, but I would be willing to bet Mr. Pink Hair doesn't have a freaking clue about what happened on this particular day, because ironically enough, this is actually a really, really good tell of how bottoms are put in markets. So, Nick, any idea? What did we call that event right there?
I don't even know if I knew what Bitcoin was back then.
Well, you can study a little bit about the history of it. Anyway, there was one of the principals. His name was Mike Hearn, and he got very, very upset at the way that the sort of, Roger Ver ran into this as well. There's sort of like a core group of Bitcoiners that want the code to go a certain direction, and there were other people that were like, no, we do not want it to go that direction. And this was the day they called it the Mike Hearn Rage Quit. And he just dumped all of his Bitcoins. And what was fascinating was he did it publicly, and you literally watched on the order book. The order book just churned through his big stack. It was something like 1,000, 2,000 Bitcoins or something like that. And it just churned through it. Churn. And literally as soon as that order was filled, it was like, that's it, the bottom's in. So anyway, interesting historical reference. So this one kind of harder to see, but can you see down, up, down, breakout? Maybe you even go, well, Brian did play around that low a little bit, but then another breakout. And actually what was really interesting about this was a Silk Road auction of seized Bitcoins, that bar right there. And that was November. I remember that, November 15. So hopefully you can see there is that W bottom. In fact, actually I was talking, who was it I was talking to? About saucer bottoms. When did I do that? Was that in...
that might have been this last week.
Was it? Was it like a daily brief or something like that?
It might have been.
I was going on with the community. Your job is to really learn how to identify saucer bottoms. Because literally, this is how capitalism works. And you get a lot of people that come in right at the sort of the beginning of the saucer bottom, and they're calling bottoms here, but you got to let this damn saucer bottom play itself out. And what you really need to see, you got to get really good at identifying this part of the saucer bottom, right? Where we've gone through just, one thing, if you want to write something down, just write this down, something to learn tonight. Usually typical bear markets are about 18 months in duration. So this is a weekly chart. 18 months is roughly how many weeks?
Be 78.
70, why don't we say 76? So where would 76 weeks be? Oh, look at that. Right about there. That's about a year and a half. Let's go. Let's even say, we won't even include the week that the market topped. Let's go to the next week. Just draw on your chart. I can't buy this thing for 76 bloody weeks. A year and a half. And then I'm going to also add insult to injury. I'm going to say I can't buy unless it's below 76% of the up move. So you can make this really simple. 76, 76. Just remember that goddamn 76 number. What do you think? Did the market get down to 76% of that previous move? Hello. There's 78. So you could say, all right, I can buy anywhere here. I could buy anywhere in here. Pretty simple. Man, that would have been a killer trade, eh? What do you do now, though? Okay, well, here we are. I mean, I've already drawn the fib, so you know exactly where 78.6. That makes it nice and easy for you. If we put on the saucer bottom, I don't know whether it's this or not, but, something along those lines, and we go, we'll do 76 weeks from the top. Right in there. So you can even almost just say, you know what, I'm going to buy my Bitcoins, let's say somewhere between 88.6 and 78.6. Be interesting on the YouTube page. I gave you guys the answer in the daily brief today. Let's see if anybody remembers. Who is it that says anytime Bitcoin corrects 70 to 80%, you just buy it like a no-brainer? This is another... Do you think Mr. Pink Hair has any idea who Bank to the Future is? You think this guy knows who Bank to the Future is? Do you think he has any idea who the gentleman I'm referring to is? I doubt it. I often say that, actually, if it weren't for this gentleman, I think the Bitcoin story would have died. And yet, the irony of it all is nobody in the daily brief today on the site even knew who the hell I was talking about. Do you guys on YouTube, do any of YouTubers, do you have any idea who I'm talking about? Oh, that was fascinating. Do you guys remember who I'm talking about? How about you guys here in my cohorts? There you go,
Yeah,
Ben. Nice.
Yeah, Ben, Simon Dixon.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Derek just gave you the answer.
I'm sorry. Ben typed it. I thought I should type it.
Anyway, and I can't even see Nick's face. He's in the dark, so I can't even see what the hell he's doing or saying. He probably is like going. I can't even tell. Anyway, so the gentleman by the name of Simon Dixon. And I would actually say, if you're going to credit anybody with Bitcoin surviving as long as it has, you should credit Simon Dixon. I didn't even know Bank to the Future was listed on Trex. It was? I didn't know that. That's interesting. I didn't think Bank to the Future was even listed. And keep in mind, Bank to the Future, they are the principals who saved Bitfinex. And anybody who's been in crypto for a while, if you remember Bitfinex tokens, then do any of you remember Bitfinex tokens?
Yeah, I think that. I kind of recall the story. They got hacked, and then that was their way to recompensate people or recompense people.
Yeah, we basically saved them.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, okay, well, we'll take the tokens, no big deal, and they just held on to them. And sure enough, they got their money back. But like I said, if it wasn't for Simon doing that, I think actually the Bitcoin story could have died there a few years ago easily. But anyway, ironically enough, Mr. Pink Hair probably hasn't got a clue what I'm talking about there. All right, so, I do kind of like thinking about the market in this kind of perspective. So it's interesting if this is the high, and nobody really knows whether this is the high or not. I don't know whether I feel totally comfortable calling that the top, because what's interesting about Bitcoin the past couple cycles is, where's that chart? Well, I guess I was just using this. Right here, you notice, this was straight down, but if we put on just like our regular fib study, right, RLZs and the like, actually here, let's reverse that, and we'll make the 88.6 yellow so you can see it. All right, so 38.2, we came screaming down initially, and you notice that we tagged 50%, and then we went bouncing right back up. Then we came back down, all the way down to Mountain Man, and then right back up into these candle body highs. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that while it was extremely volatile, this was up, down, up, fail, i.e. big fat M. And you can see this took a while to develop. This didn't happen in just 1 week. So that's one top. Then the next cycle, and this is the one where Richard cried, right? So we went up, down to 38.2, then back up, then lost the 38.2. And, as we said, this is where Richard came out on social media and was crying. He knew exactly what happened, and I'll give one person I'll really give credit to was Da Vinci. Da Vinci had the balls. He recognized the double top, and I think he told his community and stuff that he was basically getting out of whatever speculative Bitcoin positions that he had at that time at 13,000. And frankly speaking, looking back in hindsight, not a bad idea at all. So regardless of that, hopefully you see that this was a structural fail, i.e. the letter M, right? M's and W's. You hear Brad Beamish always talking about that. Another way that you can look at this is just think of it this way. What are you supposed to think if you ever see the market smiling at you? It's kind of an ugly smile, but nonetheless, right? There's the smile, right eye, right eye, and happy face. And if you see the market smiling at you, it's usually a pretty good sign that the market's about to take some money away from you. So, again, that's an M, right? Just like the previous cycle, up, down, up, fail. So now we fast forward to today. And look, here's even another example, right? Whoops. Rally peak. Pullback, rally peak, fail. What are you supposed to think if you see the market smiling at you? Yeah, same idea. So even this past spring, right, with Allen's top here, market top, okay, market needed to come down. But notice here, we just went straight up. And literally, all we've done is just gone straight down. Now, the interesting thing is we have consolidated, which might in itself actually set up an AB equals CD, which might be something like boom, boom. And of course, you know, people that are long on leverage, when they see this, they're going to shit their pants. So my apologies. But I could very easily see just a vicious stab right down into this reload zone. Clean out these weak longs. Everybody's bearish. It's the end of the world. And then what do? They literally start climbing the wall of worry back up. And I wouldn't even be surprised. It'd be interesting to get David O's take on this. But I wouldn't even be surprised if we actually are forming just a massive head and shoulders top here. That's actually what I think's going to happen here, where, you know, we're getting, you know, like, interestingly enough, you think this is bad in Bitcoin, you know, they have what's called the January barometer. So technically you should be able to look at January's price action, and you should be able to get a pretty good idea what they're going to do across the market in almost all markets through the year, based on the price action in January. Of course, I got to find the chart. This is what the January barometer looks so far like on the S&P 500. This is a big stock market that, you know, mom and dad are invested in and all that shit. And you can see, look how volatile this year is going to be. So right out of the gate, they gapped it higher and then slammed it down to new lows. Then ratcheted right back up into the old highs, and then right back down against the lows, and then spent the rest of the year sort of, this is what they call climbing the wall of worry. And then basically, you know, into the end of the day, they literally finished it right at the high. So this is actually what I think a lot of our market is going to look like for 2022. Is we're going to start off, and you can even see, so there is the rally peak. This is just for now the first few days. But they often say what ends up happening is, you know, take the and keep in mind that Monday was this weird holiday kind of thing too, so that's a bit screwy. But usually they say take the first hour, take the first day, take the first week, then take the first month. And it just gives you an idea, like if you just sort of like juxtapose all of the images together, it gives you an idea of what the sort of temperament's going to be for the year. Now remember that really what they're doing is they're making wild guesses about what the rest of the year is going to look like now. So that's a little bit, you know, by the time we get to the end of the year, I think I did a January barometer summary for 21, and you could tell by the end of the year that their forecasting was a little bit off. They were actually looking for the market to be soft, and it turns out the market was strong into the end of the year. And I think that had everything to do with this latest variant and the issues around that. Anyway, point I'm trying to make here, this is that first day, and really I wouldn't be surprised if our year looks like this, where we're going to put in some ugly, remember 2020, right, with the last days of Donald Trump. They kind of did the same thing, like if we go back, and actually what was really sad about that was it was completely telegraphed in the options market what they did. But you notice here, this was the last year of Trump's presidency. Notice, and do you guys remember Cool Kelly Loeffler? and us talking about crony capitalism in the United States. God, you don't hear too much about that kind of talk anymore, eh? Anyway, do you guys remember Cool Kelly Loeffler?
Yeah, I kind of wish I didn't, but yeah.
Yeah, you do?
I do.
All right. Anyway, so that was the beginning right there, January of 2020, right there. And just a stunning amount of stock was traded hands there, and the public bought a lot of stock. And then look what happened. Boom. So, believe it or not, I got a funny feeling there's another one of these things coming in front of us. And it kind of makes sense in that, I mean, gee whiz, look at that chart. I mean, this can't keep going up like this forever. I mean, the whole point of the stock market is it's supposed to be, and this is what kills you about crypto, right? It's supposed to be up and down and up and down and up and down, right? Yeah, and, you know, these are, you know, sort of stair-stepping its way higher. This is the capitalist process. And, you know, the public buys FOMO tops and the institutions buy the reload zone dips, right? And that's the way the game works. But it can't work that way if this thing is constantly going one direction. They've got to, at some point, flush the public out, and the institutions have to be able to reload on the cheap. So if anything, this is a bit disturbing. When the hell's this next leg lower coming? You know, capitalist system, you can't mark it up forever. So, you know, back to our funny little conversation about the first month, you can see that they're getting ready for some volatility in this market. So get ready, folks. My hunch is this first quarter of this year is going to be an absolute mess. Then, ironically enough, by the time we get through, maybe like May, April, June, maybe we're on the other side of this this most recent variant. I mean, God, I heard in Quebec they are on the. I mean, I don't really want to play it because YouTube's probably going to ban us. But holy moly, it's like basically martial law in my country back east. I mean, it is literally martial law. They have police trucks going around the city, broadcasting over their microphone that if you are outside your house after 5 o'clock, you are subject to a fine, imprisonment, and I suppose execution on the spot. I mean, it's shocking how quickly our society is just collapsing here. If anything, you guys should feel happy down in the States. You still have a little bit of freedom. Because in my country, we have like just a fraction of the freedoms that you have in the U.S. And my God, I mean, Big Brother is basically clawed back. We have no say in what's happening to our currency and the hyperinflation. Mr. Barbie doll, Ken doll guy is basically hell bent on Klaus's global reset plan. So whatever he's decided is going to happen, well, that's our fate. We don't really have much of a choice. And then what's shocking is they're able to bring the military and the police in and use them as a sort of strong arm with the sickness as a cover for basically totalitarian dictatorship. So I can't believe how this society has just collapsed. It's shocking. Oh well, it is what it is. So anyway, there's your January barometer. It's going to be a wild year, folks. And of course, Mr. Benner, and then our crypto cycle. I mean, I suppose the one bummer about all of this is I think we were gypped. Because I think we were promised that we were going to moon here into the end of the year. And I think we all got fucking gypped. I don't know who it is, but somebody stopped this son of a bitch in its tracks. And I think it's that Kardashian guy. What's his name? Kim Kardashian? He's the Federal Reserve Governor of Minneapolis. I think his name's Kim Kardashian, isn't it? What's his name? Fed Minneapolis. I have no idea how to spell Minneapolis. Minneapolis. Fed.
That's close enough.
Fed. Well, let's see what happens if we do that. What's the guy's name? There he is. I thought his name was Kim Kardashian.
I don't think it's Kim Kardashian.
No, I'm certain it is. There he is. Is that Kim Kardashian?
It could be a Kardashian.
There he is. There's Kim. So
Neil.
I don't know how
Kim
I have
Kardashian.
no idea. Sorry.
I said you're right, Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, we caught on at the last second that it is indeed Kim.
Okay. I have no idea where this son of a bitch has come from, but he's like one of these sort of MMT people that's like, hey, we can write the rules. We can do anything we want. And I hate to say it, buddy, but I think this guy's going to learn a really hard lesson that he's just as much the market's bitch as anybody else. And I think that Kim went after Mr. Saylor. Do you remember that they were exchanging some very heated tweets back and forth? Do you guys remember that? And I get the distinct impression that the Fed basically said, we're going to put the kibosh on this Bitcoin nonsense now. So anyway, that's I honestly think that because if you look at it, the timing of that, and somebody find me that tweet. I mean, it was quite remarkable that Michael Saylor dude, right? He basically went to war with the U.S. Fed, and basically the Fed, in my eyes, they basically said, you want to go to war? Fine, let's go to war. And I think that, obviously they have absolutely unlimited firepower. That's this right here, and frankly speaking, this does not look good. I think they went to war, and unfortunately, the MicroStrategies people are they're getting a bit hammered here. So, tongue-in-cheek, I'm not really impressed with that gentleman. I think he's very... first and foremost, the absolute best Fed governor, as far as I was concerned, was Alan Greenspan. And the reason why, number one, was there was a famous cartoon, and it was called The Many Faces of Alan Greenspan. If anybody watching the YouTube video can find this, it was the absolute perfect analogy, and look at that, you can't even find it. But it was the absolute perfect analogy of Alan Greenspan. Basically, he never said anything. His facial expression never changed. He just was solid. And a lot of the times, a lot of people didn't agree with him. But the point is that because he wouldn't say anything, nobody could really sort of infer. And what I'm worried about now is that, have you guys noticed that these people in the U.S. Federal Reserve keep making predictions, and every single prediction that they make is wrong? I don't know whether you guys noticed that. And that's the number one reason why Alan Greenspan wouldn't say anything, is because he knew that whatever he said was probably going to be wrong. And if anything, it's better for the market that he just doesn't say anything. The people that are in charge just, if they have to change policy, fine. And then they're just a quick statement, we're lowering interest rates because we feel the economy needs stimulus. Something along those lines. And that's it. Now, we've got like hour-long press conferences after every one where people are hanging on every word the guy's saying. And frankly speaking, I've said this repeatedly. The guy, the U.S. Federal Reserve continually comes out with statements about where the economy is going in their eyes, and every single one of them, they've been wrong. So what's the hell's the point in them saying anything? They should just shut the hell up. Anyway, the point here is that I think the Fed is actually so arrogant that they're going into the market and they're jousting with market participants. That is not the job of the U.S. Federal Reserve Board. And that bothers me immensely. And it really speaks to sort of the very this is weird. It's almost like 21st century version of finance, where it's almost like it's like this circle jerky kind of, we're all gonna, social engineering, and ironically enough, usually all of these government policies. Does anybody know of a government policy that's actually done well? I watched a video today. I thought it was really amusing. A guy actually posed that question. Can you please actually show me a government program that actually has done really, really well? Has it exceeded expectations? I can't think of any. They almost always end in disaster. So why would this U.S. Federal Reserve do any different? And the irony of it all, and we sort of muse about this on the site, is that actually they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly why they're doing it. It's just it's extremely unpopular policy. It's going to make a lot of people's lives a lot worse. Their standard of living is falling as we speak. There's nothing that the populace can do about it. And the bankers are just making sure that their business model just continues on status quo. So if you look at it from that perspective, that actually everything that they're doing makes complete sense, including being completely wrong with all of their sort of public statements of what they think's actually going to happen to the economy, because they haven't got a fucking clue what's going to happen. They're just praying to God that they can get away with it so that they keep their business model going. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. All right. So a little bit of a rant there, of course, about central bankers. You know how much I love them. We never actually did talk about Bitcoin and our prognostication, right? Remember we kind of got onto this about an hour ago when I started the show up, and then I drifted off in another direction. So sorry, guys. Nick, you got to have your light on so I can see your furrowed brow and you're not impressed with my ranting endlessly.
I mean, I do have pretty gigantic eyebrows, so I assume you could see them even in the dark.
I can't, dude. I can't.
I didn't realize that your blue line there was actually, or that blue bar was a support line.
Oh, this here?
No,
this was
down below with your
remember we
vote
did
for the
this
7
forever
days.
ago. This was my famous high to low trend line.
It was a bad joke. I was saying your 7-day thing that was for the vote.
It
looks like it just pinged it.
Well, I'm kind of bummed. Like I said, like literally, if we had done this show earlier today, I would look like a genius. And then, like literally, the last few hours of the day, the whole damn market just puked out here, and I'm like, no, my ego. I want to be like, oh, Brian's so smart. No, Brian's an idiot just like everybody else. And if anything, what a great analogy. Don't get into the business of predicting. It's fun to do this, but most of the time you don't know what's going to happen. I would have actually thought we've troughed, and that I was going to say that as of this meeting, if we didn't puke out and we held this support line, I was thinking actually of doing a +1 vote. Now, I'm not sure what the hell to say here. But, all right, maybe we should do that. Man, that was about an hour of wasted time. Did you guys enjoy that rant? Did you get any value out of that at all?
I like it. It's necessary.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's great. Good little.
Sorry, I was busy sneezing, but yes, it was great.
Well, it looks like we just lost
And we
Ben.
lost Ben. Ben just tilted
Goodness.
sideways and fell off the table.
On another note, I guess the Chinese CBDC has been released, and the app is out there on iOS and Android. And I think they plan on actually launching it or actually making it usable around Olympics time, right? Isn't the Winter Olympics coming up? Something like that?
Talk about a political football.
There's all types of things going on right now. It's just a lot to keep up with.
Yeah. The sad part about it is I think that the Chinese, the Communist Party is going to get away with all that shit and the tennis player stuff. Nobody's going to say boo. Where is justice in this world? Is there any justice? That's sad. All of a sudden, Brian's gone. Yeah, there's justice. Just not the type of justice you think, Brian. Oh, well. What are you gonna do? Let's. Let's maybe look at our spreadsheet and let's see how our prognostication did. So that was the big sort of prediction, and I kind of thought we were going to be sideways, so we just fell right out of bed here. I suppose we moved enough that the did the minus ones actually get vindicated? Was -2 actually warranted? Did we figure out what a difference between a -1 and a -2?
I think it was close to a -2 because we were 3,100 down, which is roughly like 7-ish%.
Oh boy!
I mean, that's a big move.
Wow! So everybody was completely caught off guard there. Nobody was looking for a pullback. Go figure. All right, so Nick's doing really, really well at his contrarian indicator. He was mentioning that this morning. So I thought that was kind of cool. So maybe we should buy options on...
Just fade whatever direction I want to go.
Yeah. Look at that. You can already hear that they're starting to talk like gnarly old traders, actually using the term fade. It's wearing off on these guys when we start using that kind of expression. Next thing you know, you're going to be talking about your bags and the whole thing. All right, so I don't know whether we really want to review this. Nobody got it right, so way to go. Ben actually probably, I guess, got the closest because he just wasn't here, and so we'll just assume that he was bearish, and he would have voted bearish had he been here, right? That's how it went, right, Ben?
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go. See, -2. So you had it nailed. I guess we'll come back to this at the end of the show. I guess the question really here is, we talked a little bit about Bitcoin, and unfortunately, very difficult for me to make really much comment one way or the other. I mean, we're pointed down. We're in the process of eating this tail. We're coming up against these key support levels. There should be a lot of back and forth here. Because not only do we have that level, but we also have that level. So it's probably going to be like one of these, kind of thing if it has to sort of work its way down. And unfortunately, I think the momentum is still just nasty, nasty bearish. So as a result, it's pretty tough to actually justify pulling the trigger on the long side. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a pretty good example of, can you guys see how the bears are sort of accelerating? They're kind of waking up here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Really good example of that volume impetus concept that we teach for the level 1ers. I like to teach people to be able to sort of interpret the money flow. So the fact that that's rising, it's breaking higher, 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 and it broke these highs. It's not quite Wing out yet, though. So I suppose that's somewhat of a good sign. But you can see OBV. Do we really want to fight that? I don't see any reason to fight that. Also, too, you could, those people that like to follow volume moving averages, you can actually just simply take a signal based on a volume breakout. Usually I used to use it's like 1.5 times the volume move average. So if this number here, this bar here is more than 1.5 times the moving average, which I guess would be sort of like up in here, that's a breakout. But here, that's not quite 1.5, so that's not really a breakout. That's looking awfully breakout-ishy. Suppose if we really are expecting this bearish volume trend to really take hold, we'd want to see the actual volume moving average W out. So another sort of anecdote that as long as this thing's still, it's not Wing out, we don't see this thing ramping, then maybe we're still caught in a trading range here. This is nothing more than just a test of the bottom of the range. But you can kind of see that moving average. You can see if this thing goes and W's out on the downside, you can see that W. That could be sort of the harbinger of things to come. What I used to also do years ago, in fact, I don't even teach the volume moving average on the course just because I did it a million years ago. But what I used to also do was you could do two different moving averages, but I don't think you can actually do this on this. But if you put on like another moving average, Let's see. How can I do this? Add indicator. Do another moving average. Moving average. Where is moving average? Moving average. Moving average. Moving average. No, I just want to move. There we go. Moving average. All right. So you notice. Oh yeah. See, I didn't want to see that. This is a 9 period, and I think this is 20. Doesn't tell you though. Does it say here? Oh yeah, there you are. 20 periods for the moving average. So what's happening here is the fast moving average is crossing above the slow moving average. I don't know whether you can see that or not. And can you see how the fast moving average, what letter of the alphabet is that? I don't know whether you guys can see that. Let's see. We will put that away. Can you see the W in the moving average volume? So the fact that this is now Wing out here actually means that the volume itself, the volume as, remember we talked about the bulls falling asleep and the bears falling asleep, everybody falling asleep. So you can actually use the moving average as a way to see the volume waking up. Can you see that W in the volume moving average there? And then other people, like I said years ago, I used to trade, a million years ago, probably, back in maybe even last century. That's not what I want. What I would do is I'd actually have and I showed you earlier, but I suppose we can just throw this on here. Let's go add indicator just like we did there a second ago. And we'll go moving average. And the cool thing is tonight, actually, I'm teaching you something that's not even in the education program. So go figure. All you people on YouTube, I don't know if anybody's getting any value out of this, but I'm actually teaching you something that you don't even get in the school program. But I haven't done this forever. All right, so hopefully you can see. The fast moving average is crossing above the slow moving average, which is in essence that confirmation of whoever it is that's waking up and taking over. The trend is getting going. Do you see how that works? So if anything, you guys here, Nick, Ben, and Derek, do me a favor. Throw this kind of thinking on your screen and just watch it over the next few days. This is a nice little treat for you. Nice little extra tool that you probably totally didn't expect to learn about here today. So, and you can see, here, can you see how the volume ramped up here? Notice the W in the fast moving average crossing above the slow moving average. All right, and that was that. Right. Sorry. It's difficult to play with. So can you see this base up, down, breakout, and who's driving the bus here? So do you see how that sort of confirms that volume impetus kind of message? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Oh, good. What do you think, Ben? Something new you learned today?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. I like it.
Cool. Nick? I don't know. Do I get any votes for you tonight?
I've been nodding and smiling. You just can't see me.
No, I can't. I don't know whether you could be running around naked there in Minnesota for all I know.
It's 5 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't think many people are running around naked.
That sounds like a pretty typical. Well, it's a crypto winter. Anyway, all right. So there's kind of a fun little tutorial. Everybody over there on YouTube, you got like a total fucking treat there that's not even in any of our education programs, and that is fucking worth its weight in gold. You could actually build trading systems just based on this moving average principle and the volume impetus principle, and juxtapose that with an OBV study for validation of trend. Like, what do you think? Does this make sense? You see the W, the breakout in volume, you see the volume impetus, you see the OBV. Yeah, that's a down move. I mean, is that not confirmation? It looks like confirmation to me. So anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out my butt. Anyway, have some fun with that, everybody. There's a nice little treat for you here tonight. No buy signals. It's actually interesting. Remember we were talking a while ago. We actually had this bull div come in here. This is actually a really, really good example, everybody, of what's our rule? Are we allowed to take trades on breaks of trend lines like that? Let's let the YouTube audience answer this one, because I know all three of you should, or at least I don't know, but I'm hoping all three of you say the same thing. Maybe just type your answer, so that way I'll know that you know the answer. But how about you people over on YouTube? Are we allowed to take trades on trendline breaks like this? I mean, gee whiz, it's a doji. It's a pretty big up day. And look at that beautiful bull div. Here, I got to tell you, folks, this is exactly the reason why we have this rule. Do you see how that would have fucking saved your ass? I mean, I don't know. This is what I'm actually trying to help you people. You would think, like, what am I doing wrong here, guys? Why the fuck does this cocksucker... He actually goes on and talks about how much money he's making from YouTube, and actually how he has a much better career and shit because of his 1.7 million subscribers, and yet he came in and bought all the Wall Street bet stocks right at the top. He bought... What was it? Remember that stupid idiot? What was that? You don't even hear about that guy name. What was that? Oh, he used to sit there with the big inflated bat. Remember, he used to bang his head over, and he's all just fucking like social media. I'm Mr. Popular kind of shit. And they were chasing. Remember, they bought like GameStop right up top, and they bought like AMC up top, and of course they just fucking they're professional money losers. And yet, what the fuck? How does this happen? I sit here week in, week out. I'm actually teaching you shit on these videos. You can directly use this. And we have like, 20 viewers. I don't get this.
Yeah, you actually need to think and want to work hard if you want to be a profitable trader, though. They want entertainment and easy, quick money.
Yeah. Anyway. Don't buy trendline breaks, okay? Derek, did I get through to you? Don't buy a fucking trendline break.
I got it, 100%.
So, Brian, I think we might have figured it out. Bob Collins in chat said you need to dye your hair pink.
I guess so. Maybe. Remember, I was gonna change. Hey, I was gonna change my name to some crazy ass. What was that thing? Remember, I was gonna go into the fucking Georgia plantation business.
Was it Euphoria, Sedona Euphoria?
Yeah. Derek remembers my name.
that was a fun time right at the top there.
Yeah, fucking Alan getting you buy Dogecoin at 75 cents because I'm on Saturday Night Live. You want to see how to... I mean, why is there not a single fucking person running around... Oh, Jesus, Luna's getting smoked here, eh? Look at that. Oh, well. Why isn't a single... 15 cents now. 15 fucking cents. Why isn't anybody holding this guy to account? What am I doing wrong here? I don't get this, man. I just don't get it. And for whatever it's worth... I publicly sold everything. Well, not everything. Half of my bags up top there, right there. And I publicly said, I'm selling. So go figure. And I have to give a big shout out to Sjord and to Juliet. Because both of them were like, Brian, okay, come on. Let's get serious here. That's a bit of money. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Let's hop. And I don't know, you guys tell me, is Alan a buy here right now? What do you think? Would you, now that you've gone through the education program with me, guys, what do you think? Would you step in the front of that right now?
No.
It's probably got location, and that's about it.
Yeah, maybe. And the problem is that, gee whiz, like, what do you think I'm going to say when I see this kind of price action right here? Oh, Jesus. What am I going to say? And we're heading down into that.
You're going to have to come all the way back down to the lows.
Well, what I'd say is look left. And really, there's your support. And you can even see there's the POC right there. So, isn't that crazy? Anyway, sorry everybody. I just get so frustrated. I don't quite understand what I'm doing wrong here. I seem to be alienating people. I seem to be pissing people off. And yet, I mean, I don't come here and I don't ask for money from anybody. And I just do these videos. And really, I wonder whether the message is even getting through. And the worst part about it is I sit here and I go, because all the guys, I used to be at a prop firm. And I think I even told you guys in the education program, the guys at the prop firm, they said, Brian, you're gonna regret this. And in a weird sort of way, I feel so frustrated that I'm not doing this right and it's not working. But oh well. All you can do is try your best, right? The good part about it is my accounts, like actual, capital gains, capital losses. I don't have a complaint about my personal accounts whatsoever. I'm very, very happy with the net worth situation and all that. That's not the issue. The issue more is I just feel like I gave this universe my soul over the past 10 years, and I just don't know whether I've actually made any impact. I sure hope I have, but oh well. All right, self-pity over. Let's get back to business. Sorry about that, everyone. What do we want to talk about? Hey, let's talk a little internals. We haven't talked about this kind of picture in a while. Have you guys ever heard me talk about the NVT study?
I don't think so. I mean, I've seen. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I've definitely seen other people talking about it. I think I've seen you talking about it as well, and about how the red is usually overvalued and bad. But not too much outside of that.
I mean, in essence, the problem with Bitcoin here, and this study is really, really easy to see, is that you just should not buy when this indicator is orange. And it's interesting how at the end of the summer, remember we got that buy signal, and I think it was like in October or something. The market actually was relatively cleaned out. Actually, I guess that's September, October there. This was the end of the summer. Remember, in fact, you remember when we first started doing this show, we were going, oh yeah, this thing's correcting. Oh, this thing's correcting. Oh, this thing's correcting. Remember we started off like right out of the gate. It was like right after that spring peak, and we spent probably a good few months just watching stuff go down. And really the bottom line here is, you want to be value investing. You don't want to be spending your money in Bitcoin when this indicator is orange like this. You just leave it alone. Wait for it to W, wait for it to come out of that overboughtness. I mean, something like this is beautiful, right? And then look down at the indicator. Remember we showed you that W from before. Can you identify this W? Can you just wait for the indicator to W out? In this particular case, you can see the indicator kind of W'd out and enjoyed a nice counter trend rally. But in this particular case, all you saw was the network just went sideways. Price just went sideways. If anything, that in itself is a bit of a warning sign that if price just goes sideways while this cleans itself up, that once it gets overbought, you better be careful and, be darn careful. And sure enough, market dumped. Then we come out of this, and what was fascinating is at this point, actually, everybody and their brother was bearish. And this is what we have to get back to, is we have to get back to this environment. And this environment is, I hope I don't get in trouble for playing it, but man, I love this song.
Stop going sideways now.
So you gotta get to the point where the public
Don't
is just
ever
sick
say we
of
going
this.
down to 1K,
And
but
then
Mr.
public
Noble
figures
can
are
say
bearish.
we have bottomed out, no gratis.
And when this came out, it was just great. And that was exactly right here. And literally from that moment, up we go. Now, the interesting thing about this is that Novogratz predicted 40,000 on Bitcoin. So, ironically enough, even now, price is still above his 40,000 price target. So, I wouldn't even be surprised if we actually top out around 40,000. And I think I've said to you just a couple times even tonight, I actually think we're near some sort of short-term pivot low here. And I think we're going to go back up, then we're going to roll over, and then that 40,000 is actually going to be the fail level down the road. And people would have dreamed about getting 40,000 Bitcoin back here when that song came out, right? Now they're going to be like, you want me to sell 40,000 Bitcoin? There's no way I'm going to sell 40,000 Bitcoin. So you see how that works? It's kind of weird how psychology gets screwed up like that. But I actually think we have to get back into this kind of environment for us to remember, or, be thinking about, hey, I can 10x my money. I can 100x my money. I don't know whether we can really do that in this kind of environment. What I'm worried about here, guys and girls, is I like the idea of the counter trend rally and what happens in this counter trend rally. These shitcoins actually do really, really well. Bitcoin does not go to new highs, just like I showed you this M top and this M top here if we zoom in. Bitcoin doesn't go to new highs. The shitcoins are enjoying themselves. They're having a great old time. This thing rolls over, and that's it for this cycle. So that's what I'm looking for. Not really bearish right here, believe it or not. Even though this looks really ugly in the short term, I'm not really bearish right here. But if anything, you remember I told you earlier, what did I say if and when Ethereum pulled back to its 61.8? Do you guys remember what I called that? And that was like about a year or so ago, eh?
This is the buy of a lifetime.
Yeah, and it actually proved out to be a half decent trade. So, I don't know whether I can show you that or not.
I remember, I think that's the in the year that I've known you, I think it's the closest you've been to pounding the table.
Yeah, I don't do it very often, do I? If you ever see a market come straight down like a rock into that 61.8, I think that was there, right? Yeah. And it just doesn't have any structure. It's just straight down. Where the hell's Mountain Man? There he is. Right? And it just comes straight down like that. That is a screaming buy. And sure enough, woohoo! I got free Ethereums, and now the Ethereums are taken off the exchange. So I don't even really care what happens. They're free. That's the buying opportunity of a lifetime. If you can get yourself something that costs nothing and you can just forget about it. Doesn't get any better than that, folks. So, if anything, if you are Bitcoin bullish, believe it or not, I actually think you want to see this thing come screaming straight down. Because remember, we didn't really hit 61.8 there. You want it to come screaming straight down into this level and then jackknife right back up. So, do we dare say, if Bitcoin does dump, I'm putting my neck back in the noose here. It's going to hurt like a son of a bitch. But if Bitcoin comes screaming down here to 28,265, we'll call it, I think that'll be, I don't know whether I'm going to really say buying opportunity of a lifetime, but I'm going to say it's going to be one hell of a buy. I really think so. And the question ultimately will be, what would a pro trader want to see, especially with what I just said about Ethereum there? What would a pro trader want to see right after this 61.8 get tagged? It's pretty easy. Nothing? Anybody? Anybody on YouTube? I don't know how delayed the YouTube feed is. It might be like a couple minutes delayed though, eh?
I guess maybe like a bounce or a V bottom or something like that.
What you'd want to see is for it to go, thank you, Ben, nailed it. Right? And
I see.
The hint was I gave you the number. So 28.2, what's double 28.2? That sounds like, 56.4, 56.5, somewhere in there. So that would literally be a bounce back to here. You get that bounce and you're made in the shade. Believe it or not, that's not actually too unrealistic. In fact, probably what happens here is you can, and this is what I've been sort of conjecturing, because keep in mind, folks, and anybody who's watching this later on, and this will be really interesting comment to see like 5 years from now. So somebody make a note of this. Put a little note in your diary. Come back and review this 5 years from now. I am a commodity bear by definition for the next 15 years. So how many halving events do we have to go through for price to actually justify being here if we assume S19 rates? And keep in mind that this cost of production keeps falling because these damn processors get faster and faster and faster every generation. So let's just assume that the cost of production stays here at the S19 level into the next halving, which is over here. How many halvings do we have to go through? And they happen about once every 4 years, right? I think it's something like that.
Yep.
So how many halvings do we have to go through to actually justify $50,000, $60,000 Bitcoin? If the cost of production right now is $6,000, $7,000. Well, 6 to 12, that's 1. 12 to 24, that's 2. 24 to 50, that's 3. So 3 times 4, we're already talking like 12 years from now, right? And we're only back
10 years, because we're already 2 years into this happening.
Okay, so but do you get where I'm going?
Yep, it's a while.
You could very easily actually see Bitcoin trade in this trading range for the next 10 years. Wouldn't surprise me at all. That's what commodities do. I don't know whether any of you have ever looked at a gold chart, but basically that's exactly what gold did. And the worst part about it is, keep in mind, I was a stockbroker, so I had clients, right? These poor, oh, actually I won't show on this because that's M2 adjusted, but I remember back in the 1990s prospecting this one guy. And just like we had here in 2021, everybody and their brother swearing by fucking Bitcoin here. In 1980, everybody and their brother were swearing on gold. And of course, commodity trading was the hot new thing. And hell, you can see, I mean, basically this is a 20-year window where all it just did was just go down. So I'm not necessarily saying Bitcoin's going to do this. I think I could easily see Bitcoin do something like that for the next 10, 20 years. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Having said that, what I have noticed about Bitcoin is that it's because of the limited supply, it's highly, highly manipulatable. And once you get on that, like the only thing that's really certain about Bitcoin, in my opinion, is this halving event. That's the only thing that's absolutely certain that's going to happen. And I also say that the only thing that I think absolutely will happen is if price gets at or near this level, then the industry itself starts to get very worried. I've seen it happen 2 or 3 times. It's all around what they call a 51% attack. And the long and short of it here is if you get price too close to cost of production, then the limited miners that are in the space can collude together to control the network. And if that's the case, then it makes basically the whole Bitcoin concept completely irrelevant. And I suppose one could argue, a lot of the people that don't like Bitcoin, they make the argument that, given one of these, if a 51% attack does happen, there's not really a heck of a lot you can do about it. And, as the South Park expression goes, and it's gone. Actually, one thing that does fill me with confidence about crypto going forward is this idea of the decentralization of these exchanges, because I think a big sort of Achilles heel of Bitcoin for a very long period of time was these centralized exchanges. Also, too, what probably prevents a outright crash, especially when it comes to things like POS, is the idea that you guys are all going to go and stake your coins. I, for one, am going to be really curious to see how this plays out. I don't know whether I've really bought into the idea yet, but I'm from Missouri. Are any of you from Missouri? Derek, if you're from Missouri, what's your state motto?
Show me.
Yeah, so I'm from Missouri, as we used to always say. So show me, and I'll be more than happy to believe. But, we're going to watch this Luna really closely and see how it behaves. I mean, if anything, if you look at an asset like that and you're thinking about investing some serious money in this, you're nuts. And you're just asking for trouble. You're like Mr. Pink Hair on YouTube. It's just dumb. Having said that, and this is what I did through the summer. The same sort of thing. You want to come in here on Luna and you want to buy up here? What are you, on drugs? Okay, fine. Got to do what you got to do. What I just basically teach students is, wait for that, 70, 80% correction, good old reload zones. And, I just forced myself. I put myself on a buying plan. As soon as we got into there, buy. And then when it went W'd, I was like, fuck it, man, got to buy some more. And that is how you make serious money trading shit in the marketplace. You got to buy low, sell high. When this thing's moving higher, I force myself to sell halves on doubles. I don't even give myself permission to have an opinion. My opinion doesn't mean jack fucking shit. All that matters is I have a cost basis, and every time this asset doubles off of my cost basis, out goes half. Out goes half. Out goes half. It's what works for me. I've been playing this game for 30 years. Don't think, trade. It's how my plan works, and I do very, very well. I'm very happy with it. If you're the type of person where you're like, Brian, I want to really maximize my gain, so I'm going to sell half on a triple. Fine. You want to say I'm going to sell half on a quadruple. Fine. I don't even really care. All I care is that ahead of time, before you even put the trade on, like here, I could tell you at this point right here, right, on my birthday, May 11th, 2021, I could literally tell you exactly what's going to happen in this trade in my account going forward. I am going to get filled on my stink bids off 78.6s. And then, my plan is I buy, add to the trade on the W. So I couldn't tell you exactly when that was going to happen. But I had bids working in reload zones anyway. So I knew I was going to be a buyer. And then, like I said, figure out what your average cost is. Now that I'm in, I already know what the future is. If this idea works, the future is I'm going to be selling some. All right? Then I'm going to be selling a bit more. All right? Then I'm going to be selling a bit more. And I can tell you right now, I have orders to sell working up there. So every time the darn thing doubles, out goes half. And it's just don't think, just trade. Because I can tell you, maybe if you actually, now this would be curious, right? This would be a fun experiment. If you went out onto just any old street corner, it doesn't even really matter, and you just simply said, maybe you pulled up the chart from here, and you said to, let's say, 100 people, what do you think is going to happen to this asset?
It's going to zero.
Yeah, that's the irony of it all. That most of the public would have a very, very hard time stepping in front of that, or even imagining something like that happening. They can't even conceive it. It's beyond conception. And I would actually make an argument, just as this happened here, this is actually what I think the entire equity and risk market is going to do in the next few years. I've shown you that image. Again, the public cannot conceive this. They can't. Did any of you guys ever read the what the hell's the name of that book? I think it was called The Valley of the Horses and the Clan of the Cave Bear. You guys ever read that? That's a famous book, The Clan of the Cave Bear. You guys ever read those books? Any of you? Valley of the Horses, and there was 3 books in this series.
I'm writing it down though.
Yeah, well, it was a famous book. But anyway, the whole point was it was the transition from humans being Neanderthals to what are modern Homo sapiens or whatever the hell it is. And the Neanderthals, they had a memory. They could remember everything of their entire lives. And if they were ever told anything, they could remember it verbatim. But they could not do something like add 2 + 2 = 4. That was just completely beyond their comprehension. And I might argue being able to look out into the future and understand economic cycles, understand the bullshit fucking nonsense that the bankers are doing to inflate our economy to get out of the old debt situation. Most of the public, they can't wrap their head around this shit. It's just way too big. And there's no way in the world the public can wrap their head around the future looking like this. It's inconceivable. I would imagine probably all 3 of you. You probably look at that and go, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it, Brian. That's my hunch. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. You guys enjoying the fun rant here this evening?
Always.
Oh, that's good. Do we want to, and, today's rant on the Daily Brief was, 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 40 minutes. I've just been blabbing away there for 1 hour and 41 minutes, and I don't even know what the hell I've even talked about. What's really interesting about this is, and let's see, we'll do a poll because I think that I think that you guys get this. But what might we call that level right there? The YouTubers, this is your chance to shine. This is the TRI Top Crypto 100 Shows Special. We're going to make this guy famous. We're going to make an NFT out of this. At least Derek wanted to make one. What would we call this level? Anybody on YouTube? How many people we got over there? 23 big people. Woohoo! We're smoking tonight. No, Blueberry. That's the textbook. That's
not the Kim Kardashian.
No,
this.
No. Mind you, it is a little bit of a bastardization of the original name, though. There you go. Thank you. And Joshua, 34%. I like the idea that we could call this the Benkoff check. All right. Whatever happened to all the NFT stuff? Man, remember when Alan was when we started this, everybody was talking NFT. That's all kind of died away, hasn't it?
They've actually been starting to go crazy again these last couple weeks.
Oh, have they? All right.
But
well, anyway.
They might be dying down again now that Bitcoin decided to kind of poop the bed a little bit. But
so, what do you think the odds are that is somewhere around 70 to 80% of this range? Think they're probably pretty good?
It's a good chance.
I'd say probably pretty good. Oh, gee whiz. Look at that. Have you guys ever heard me talk about 78.6s as a level that I kind of like to pay attention to? Damn. I mean, this, after a while, it's kind of funny how this stuff just writes itself, eh? So I don't know how this correction plays out. And frankly speaking, I don't want to get into the business of predicting that. All I'm going to simply say is, if I want to invest in this, I've played this game long enough that I am well served just to be patient and disciplined, which are 2 words that are very, very difficult for most investors to follow. I just want to be patient and disciplined. And frankly speaking, I love this level. This level down in here is absolutely perfect. You want to work stink bids now? Piss everybody off? One thing I noticed Luna has, which Sjord was telling us, is they have a service now on something like Luna where you can place buy orders, but you only want to buy when people are getting like mass liquidated. Leverage liquidations. Kids bought and they're getting flushed out. And you can place your order and say, look, I only want to buy when this event happens. You want to place it at this buy price. Of course, look at that, right? That's just going to piss a lot of people off. So I don't know how it's going to happen. I'm not in the business of predicting the future. I don't really care. I'm long a ton of this. And of course, from the trade, right? I bought here, sold half on a double, sold half on a double, sold half on a double. I got plenty of coin. If this thing keeps on going up, sell half and double. But what I'm actually thinking about is when do I, and actually what did I originally call this zone here? Call it the RLZ. Now what the hell does RLZ stand for? Stands for reload zone. So this is a situation where, you could make the argument there's a big old run up here. Some big old fat cat, and actually, probably institutional players, really, not really. Probably even Novogratz too. If I'm not mistaken, I seem to remember Novogratz even said, hey, pay yourself a little bit on this rally. So we could use Novogratz as our whale here because I think he's a really big fan of Luna.
I think he got a tattoo, so he is a huge fan.
Yeah. Oh. But if anything, that's a little bit. I don't like that. That's a little
weird to me. But each his own.
Yeah, I suppose if Novogratz comes out on social media and starts crying, then we're screwed. Just no crying from Novogratz, okay? Mike, if you're watching, put the fucking Kleenex away. Man up. I'm just kidding. That guy could buy and sell me 100 times over if he wanted to. Anyway, point of the matter here is I call it the reload zone because what should happen is big bull markets, you got to pay yourself. If it's sell halves on doubles, whatever, sell halves on triples, you want to, hell, we could probably even do Foggenbombs. Watch this. This will freak you right out. Ready? Boom. Would it have been pretty snazzy to had bought this double bottom breakout and said I'm not going to sell any until a 4669. That's a 10x on your money. You can if you want. I don't really care. All I care, I said this earlier, all I care is you just do what you say you're going to do. And you are best served, because I want you to try and be able to play this game as long as possible. You are best served to just lay everything out ahead of time, so that there's no thinking involved. There's no discretion. We used to have an expression at the prop firm. Yes, by definition, we are quote unquote discretionary traders. That is our job title. But that doesn't mean by any means you have any authority whatsoever to trade at your discretion. You just don't. Or if you do, you're going to lose your money real quick. Anyway, so sell, pay yourself, market breaks down, reload. Sell, pay yourself, market breaks down. What are we supposed to do in here? That's the whole reason why I labeled this the reload zone. It works pretty darn well. The only problem is, you got to just, at this point, what do you think you do? If you want to be a buyer, what do you think you got to do? And the answer is, don't buy. So, there's not really much else I can tell you. Unfortunately, Luna fans and the lunatics and all that kind of stuff, they don't understand this. They'll just keep buying, they'll keep buying, they'll keep believing, keep believing, keep believing. And that's fine. I'm not trying to, anybody who's like a diehard believer in a story, throw yourself on the dollar cost averaging plan, and actually you're rooting for lower prices. Because every time the price goes down and you have a dollar cost averaging event come along and you have to buy, you can actually buy more because the price is cheaper. Great, awesome. So, if you're a long-term lunatic fan here, you're actually rooting for the price. We want the price to go down because I'm going to be buying every single paycheck and I want to buy more. I want to get bigger quantity for every time I step in and do some buying. So, in a weird sort of way, nobody should be buying there. I can understand the dollar cost averagers. They're not even going to look at a price chart. You do what you please. I can tell you as a long-time market participant, this is the way that I'm looking at the market right now. And there's a lot of names that look like this. We can... if anything, when it comes to crypto, I love stuff like totally unpopular. Where do I want to show you this? Actually, it's not off of here, is it? Crypto. Yeah. I like this kind of name, where that looks kind of the exact opposite, right? I mean, yeah, you have these little spikes up, but like when a certain gentleman that was popular in the crypto space mentioned this in an interview, I said, hey, I wouldn't mind grabbing some of that. And I just, whoops, what happened there? Let's try that again. Just like I showed you with that Luna. It's identical. Remember, everything that I do is basically the same thing, folks. So here, guess what Brian's doing? Buying. I also have another order down here. Buying. And the thing's taken off. If anything, I kind of don't stop going up. Come back down. I want to buy more. So that's the kind of name that I want to buy into. I want to try and get filled off the bottom here. There's also another one, CHESS. And this just happened to come up on one of our screeners the other day. And actually, I'm in here. I'll be willing to just take some nibbles. I don't mind actually stepping in on a name like that. It might not be at a bottom. I'll do what we call a nanny nibble, sort of little old lady strategy. But hopefully you can see I'm buying a down market. I'm not buying an up market. So that would be a very typical sort of kind of idea. That's where I like spending my money. And like that Cello, same sort of idea. I think this Cello's probably got a little bit better looking chart because it does have this base in here. Good looking W, but same sort of thing. I don't want to chase a market that's already gone up 10x. If anything, I want to kind of like that Luna. If this thing does go up here, if my cost basis is around here at about 4.5, well, that means at 9 out goes half. At 18 out goes half. At 36 out goes half, right? And that would be the same thing as Luna. In fact, probably you could even do things like Foggy Boggies, and that same 4669 is basically that same kind of thinking. Yeah, so in this case, that 4669 is up at 36, and we said on the Luna it broke down right at that level. So if Cello gets up here into the mid 30s, am I going to be buying up there? No fucking way. I'm buying against the bottom ends of ranges. That's what I do as an investor, and that's what I try and do. So anyway, good example there. Now, one thing that I will say here is if this market does just it just doesn't catch. There's a lot of names here that are just going to be floundering. Like a lot of the shit coins, they've just done nothing here. So if we start getting through, let's say, the other side of March, April, and I really don't see a lot of upside, and Bitcoin has done nothing more than just rallied back into that 50,000, 55,000 area, I might just start hopping off a lot of crypto and just sort of sitting on the sidelines for the next year or two. So just, be aware of that, folks. I'm not overly impressed with the amount of time left on this rally here. And actually, you can kind of see. I mean, the market's taking a bit of a punch in the nose here just in the short term. So I still think that right now we're going through this sort of January. This is what's called the January barometer. So we're still going through this January barometer kind of feel out. If I believe this is what our fate is for the year, then probably the first week or so of January is going to be absolutely messy as hell. Then once we start getting out the other side of the month of January, I do like the idea that risk and crypto in particular could rally into like the Super Bowl event. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's a gentleman who's doing the music this year that is somewhat crypto enthusiastic. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of hype and some pump into that event. And that might be sort of like this kind of period where if this was the whole year, this is like January, early February, and then once that mid-February comes, all hell breaks loose. So get ready for it, folks. My hunch is this reminds me a lot. They're setting the market up for, I don't know whether you guys remember, but, and I think I showed you this a while ago, but maybe I didn't. But January of, see here, January of 2020, and then they presented us with this. Market bottoms in March, and we literally spend the rest of the year going straight up. I got a funny feeling that's kind of the same scenario that they're painting here. So into the beginning of the year, I wouldn't be surprised if there's just massive lockdowns. Like I said, I was shocked to hear that in the province of Quebec and literally the police are basically roaming the streets like armed militia. And from what I understand, Ontario is also going into lockdown. I would imagine BC is probably going to go into lockdown here pretty soon. I hope to God you guys down in the States don't have to go through as militant a situation as that. But anyway, you shake it. I think that's what's going to happen here the first quarter of the year. And in a weird sort of way, it's going to give the politicians the authority to turn the printing presses back on, inflate this whole damn fugazi a whole bunch more, because that's exactly what I think's happened here. That's the whole reason why they're doing it, is they have to inflate these economies to deal with the debt loads. And it's just more business of what we've seen over the past couple of years. Sucks. But I get the distinct impression that once we sort of get through maybe, let's say, maybe the summer, that maybe we'll be on the other side of this sickness. The economy will start sort of accepting the fact that we're living in a rising interest rate environment, and then we start basing, and we can maybe then start really seriously thinking about rallies into the end of the year. Once we get into the fall, then we got to start worrying about humming and hawing about the market. The one thing about this is the U.S. market, so slightly different. International. I think the international market is much more vulnerable. The U.S. market actually, I think, is the strongest market in the world right now. So go figure. But the bankers, of course, are up to their shenanigans, so makes it kind of difficult to see. All right. I don't know whether there's really anything to talk about over here. I mean, do we want to talk individual stories? Do we want to take requests? I don't know.
So, I mean, I know we're at the 2-hour mark already. We did have 2 things we were supposed to look at this week.
Oh, cool. What?
One of them was SHIB. I don't remember if this was like you were looking for a rounded bottom or if it had dipped far enough by now. I forget.
See, the chart will probably say everything here, eh?
Maybe a different one because I don't see any marks.
Yeah. I'm not even quite sure, because usually what I do is there's that chest you can see. That's where I want to buy it. So I'm still waiting for it to come down a bit more. Where this is usually the chart that I have it on here. So let's see, SHIB. Problem is, which one were we looking at? There's so many of these, eh? Wow, look at that mess. Oh, this one looks like so this is probably what we're thinking. All right, so we were probably wanting to see the bull div confirm, eh? So you see how long, like we were kind of conjecturing that, okay, maybe we can get a nice bump up and that bull div confirms right away. And then we get a pullback and a nice W and it sets up a buy signal. So what actually happened? We don't really need to worry about Willie right now, but I would say that if anything, Willie not being oversold here was a little bit of a harbinger, because notice, look, Willie did have to get oversold there. And now we actually do have a double bottom there in Willie. But I think probably more importantly for this conversation is this. Notice we were looking for that quick move back up, and the move through this level would confirm the bull div right there, right? But it didn't come right here. There's a cute little one right there, but it did really come in way over there. So it took a little bit longer for that to actually confirm. So at this point right here now, right here, and let's say we had good trade location. Now we got indicator confirmation coming in here. Well, what do we want to look for next?
Market structure.
All right, so that came in right there. Why don't we put a big vertical line right? Looks like it was right there, right? Boom. Interesting. We got a nice little bullish signal out of Willie there as well. Probably RSI does as well. But what happened in price following this? So we get our MACD confirms a breakout right here. Boom. Any W's? No, no, no. Oh, what the hell's that? That looks like
that's an upside down W.
Yeah, well, we don't want to see that. And then lower high, and lower low, lower high and lower low. Now we're actually back to testing this low. So you tell me, we had our location signal, we had our momentum signal. Did we ever get that third reason to justify taking a trade? Anyone?
I guess if you trade dojis, maybe.
Dojis?
Like right there at the bottom there. Looks like there was a doji that was then traded through the top.
Where's that? This right here?
Yeah.
No, because remember we said we have to wait for the bullish confirmation in momentum.
Oh yeah, I missed the red dot.
There is that line that happened there.
That's fair.
So the question is there any buy signals anywhere here? The answer, unfortunately, is no. None whatsoever. So, really good lesson. We kind of hypothesized what would a buy signal look like. Kind of said, well, we want to see the rally, which would confirm the bull div. The rally that confirmed the bull div was this rally here. So that happened way later than what we wanted. Then we also kind of wanted that this rally would confirm the bull div, and then we'd come down into reload zones, paint a nice W, and give us a buy signal. So there's the counter trend rally that produced the bullish divergence signal. So really, if we were thinking this kind of thought, then what we should have hopefully seen is that high back down to this low, the market come down and put in a nice W through there. Right? And there will be your buy signal. Does that make sense? Same principle. It's just it hasn't formed yet. And the problem with this, if you're sort of relatively new to this, is if you want to make it really simple and you want to try and sort of increase the odds of success, change your chart to a line chart and ask, what do the M's and W's look like at this point? Now, And obviously we got all this gobbledygook on here, but if we take that off, you tell me. Do you see more M's or more W's as we speak here?
I mean, definitely W's. Or sorry, M's. Sorry.
You know what that is? That's subconscious information bias, right? Subconsciously, you want this to be a buy.
Well, I never want this to be a buy. I don't know why I said a W.
Anyway, I'm just playing with you. Point here is, you know, if we change it to a line chart, you don't see any W's at all here. So, hey, you want to wait for a buy signal? And I would strongly suggest you don't like take a signal that's this big. Ideally, if this thing's really a buy, remember we talked about saucer bottoms? What we'd love to see is this thing kind of just calm down and do something like that. Right? If we could get those nice triangles, reload zones within reload zones, so that right there, that's a reload zone, then that right there, that's a reload zone. You can get those kind of situations. Oh my God, they're so beautiful. So yes, we were supposed to take a look at this. We kind of postulated that maybe a bottom would be coming in. No, there's no bottom whatsoever here. Simple as that.
Secondly, we were going to look at Link because it was in the middle of a speed bump.
Link. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was an interesting one, wasn't it? Oh, look at that. It looks like it got on the other side of it too. Went like that, and then went like that, and if I'm not mistaken, I think we went like Gann square fixed. I think this is the one that I like to use. We go like that. The only problem is, what's the scaling? And I always like to try and make sure. So there's the 1-to-1. Does that look like that's following trend? Looks like it, eh? So it's not bad, but that doesn't really have... Interesting how we went from arc to arc there, right? Jeez, incredible. Maybe we were drawing it off of that. I don't know if I see where... I guess maybe we must have been drilled into the point where we were... Yeah, this is a problem with Gann. It drives you nuts. Is what is the correct scaling methodology? You know, the easiest way to do this is just to hit this circly button, and that sort of resets the chart to the way TradingView would like to see it, but that doesn't look anything at all like what we were looking at earlier, right? I seem to remember we were sort of like talking about it being in here, and I think I remember telling you guys we really wanted to see this thing get on the other side of this before we really want to hunt a buy. So, question here, and actually this is an interesting case study, because what the point and figure people would do, they would look at the actual price, and based on the price, that's the scaling method that they would use. One box equals X amount of dollars. So the easiest way, I think we have it in the library, but let's see. There's always Gann's such a funny character. Because remember, everybody, that Gann used to work with graph paper. So he would get a piece of graph paper, and it would be 1 cubit by 1 cubit, and the piece of graph paper would never change. So the problem here is that, you know, you scroll in and out, and you can clearly see one box changes dramatically. And that's what makes doing WD Gann studies nowadays off these modern computers such a fucking pain in the ass. One of the easy ways to sort of do this is to grab a 45-degree angle off of this, but again, it's really a function of, so there, yeah, so that is, there's 45 degrees, that's that angle there. Then what Gann would say was you would use a vibrational signature. So you would literally draw your study from here to here, because that is the vibrational signature of the rally from low to high. We could probably also do another one from there to there. That might give us the speed bump in that area. Yeah, that's probably what I did for you guys before. Because notice, look how the speed bump there stopped the rally. Also, too, actually, that's not a bad study. I kind of like that. Do you see how the speed bump here, price respected that? Then we got on the other side of it, and boom, we hit a horizontal line. Price had to calm down, get through the horizontal line, then bang, right up into a vertical line, into the speed bump, stop, don't take the trade there, let the market get out. In this particular case, we failed. Take your short. Interesting how we zipped all the way back down here. And actually, maybe let's lock that into place. Lock. There we go. So now when you lock it in, the scale stays the same. So notice when we came down here, look how we lost this level, but then came right back to the angle. Puked out, then back to the angle. Puked out, back to the angle. Man, the market sure liked that angle. Then it lost that angle and vroom, straight down. Interesting how we didn't quite hit the angle here, but we rallied back up, and then we had to come down into the speed bump. Now, here's a really good example. Look how we had to get out on the other side of the speed bump, and literally the market put in structure right on the other side of it and just took off like a rocket. Not a bad example there of waiting for the other side of the speed bump. Came down, banged into a speed bump, a little bit of a stall, rallied up with vertical line. We should actually calm down as we go through vertical lines. Then came down following the vertical line. You might even argue, I bet you this vertical line was supposed to be off of that doji bar there, not that bar there. But anyway, that's here nor there. Boom, right down into support. Held this support like a boss. Market really likes that level. We've come out the other side of the speed bump now. So really, any bullish market structure over here, I'm actually okay. I don't have a problem with you hunting that. In fact, what I would probably say is you could do reload zone here down to here. And probably reload zone is right along that angle again. So that is there. Yep, there you go. So 61.8. Nice little tag of this low. Grim, he loves those where the market pivots. The bar that makes that low there, you can see there's two of these red bars, institutional order blocks right there. Not a bad level. Just south of $20. Somewhere between 17 and 20 on any kind of, because it's like crypto's kind of puking out here right now, eh? So this is a good example where if we puke out back down into reload zones, I actually think it's probably a buying window. So there you go. What do you think? Is that a half decent chart to look at? Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, that was a good one to come back to.
Yeah. So actually, I'm glad we did that vibrational signature off of that high, because it looks like that. I think the market is respecting that pretty well. So if we can put in any kind of buy signal, all of this is all open air up here. All of that. So there's your playground. And that kind of makes sense too, right? Right up against those old highs. Probably do like a reload zone of this range up there to there. Yeah, look at that. 88.6 is basically right up in there. And that would be actually the seasonal window peak. That would make sense to me. Right? How does the expression go? Buy when it snows, sell when it's something, right?
Brian's birthday.
Well, there's that too. So I kind of like that. That's not a bad study there. And then actually we could even do something even further. Somebody, you want some voodoo magic? Check this out, ABCTOZ. Let's see if Foggy Buggy is expecting price up in that area. So we can go here, to here, and to there, because that's now been confirmed. So, boom. So, yeah, perfect. Now there's some fucking voodoo. Because look how 2.618 is basically just going to be back into this area here. What did we say? I don't know. Well, we'll ask you guys over on YouTube. What do we say about guys that bought here? Where are they sleeping right now? I think Derek actually can relate to this a bit. I don't know, maybe not. That might be a bad assumption. I think no, he's a pretty good husband. I don't think you don't have to sleep on the couch too often, do you?
No, I try to stay out of those situations.
All right, that's good. So anyway, the joke is there. You go. Thank you, Wade. Thank you, ABCTOZ. Right. The guys that buy these pumps, FOMO, right, bag holders, whatever, they're sleeping on the couch. And if we can get back, notice how 2.618 is right up against that level. If we can get back up into there, these guys that bought here, oh my God, they'll get out of there so fucking fast. So that makes sense to me. Also, too, if we get a nice head of steam here, can you see look left? We don't really run into major resistance, and really I might argue that high, that high, that high, that high. Well, it's all up in that area. It makes logical sense to me there. Then also too, foggy, next foggy boggy level, 4.669. And remember we were kind of saying up against this horizontal or vertical resistance and this speed bump, there's 469. Look at 4669 lines up almost perfectly with 78.6. And you've heard me talk about how much I love 78.6. So, yeah, it makes sense. And if all hell breaks loose, and this thing turns into some sort of crazy ripping bull market, 88.77. Way up there. I don't know whether there's any really relevance to that. And then if this thing really gets going, 16.88, which is interesting because I have seen it, believe it or not. This will really blow you away. You want to see some fucking voodoo here. We can go there to there. Oh, yeah, look at that. And I don't know whether this is exactly right or not. But if this thing really gets going in earnest, what'll end up happening is this will actually rally right back up and kiss the 1-to-1 line from the other side. And that will actually become resistance again. I've seen that happen lots. So if this thing gets going absolute apeshit crazy, that's on the table. So interesting. That was kind of fun taking a look at that, eh? And the interesting thing about these, this is one of the ones that Tyler liked, right? Is that Chico Crypto guy, right?
Yeah, I think he's talked about Link quite a bit.
Yeah. And I got the impression a week or two ago that he kind of blew a fuse. So I don't know whether it was the relentless downside pressure on these kind of names that just got to him. But I did kind of notice that there's a few names that he liked that he was touting. As soon as he had that sort of event and the whole public YouTube thing and stuff, and God bless your soul, Tyler, you work really, really hard. You deserve a break. You're a very, very good person. God bless. Just take it easy, dude. But I noticed there's a few names, like there's a couple others. And keep in mind, you know what I love doing? Kind of like what I did with the cello hair, is I love to listen to you smarty smarts in the industry, and kind of like what I did with Luna, I did exactly the same thing. And then I just sit and go and cherry pick, right? What's it? Danielle, right? Daniele? He was sort of touting it here, and I'll go, all right, I'll throw in a bid here, I'll throw in a bid here, and so now my average cost is here, and I'm feeling pretty good. If they want to ramp this up, awesome, way to go, perfect, right? Well, same sort of thing. I did exactly the same thing. These are the ones that Chico Crypto kind of liked, and this is just so typical me. The only problem is I got to show you which chart I have it on. This one over here, I think. So all of these names, like the Mist, I was able to generate a nice free position for myself here. So I'm feeling pretty good. Bids filled. Sell halves on doubles filled. I don't have that written on here, but I know for certain I did that. Actually, look, it says order working, but I can show you on Polo if you really want. I did get my fill. So now I got myself a nice free position on this Alchemist. I have no idea what's going to happen here. But thank you, Tyler. He gave me this, so appreciate that. The stake, same thing. He was all excited about this one. And actually, I've been trading multiple cars on this thing and having just a great old time. So this is what I like to do. I like to listen to you guys and then just go and do what I do, right? Reload zones, buy W's, full divs, blah, blah, blah. So I get the impression that this link, I actually like the idea of going and picking some of that up down here, you know? It's not a terrible idea whatsoever. So what we do need to see, though, is we need to see a little bit of bullish market structure come in on this thing. Let's see, where was it? I think it was off of here, wasn't it? Maybe it was a different... Oh, darn. Anyway, I had it on here somewhere. Maybe it was over here. Yeah, it was the cello. Where's the link? Is this it? Oh, that was Shiba. Oh, darn. Oh, well, I've lost it. I've been talking now, for 2.5 hours, so probably I'm done. Just the fact that I can't find the chart that I was looking at, to me, that says I'm done. I can't even see Nick now. Can either of you actually see Nick? He's gone even darker now. I can't see you. For whatever it's worth, everybody, I'll give you a nice picture of me. There I am on YouTube. I think you see that, and you see Bert, my buddy behind us. This is what I mean, this is how serious I am with technical analysis, although I don't think that's showing. There we go. I'll show you that over there. So there I am, and there's Bert, my buddy. You know, even in the on the site today, we were celebrating the National Association of W Lovers. But that's how serious we are when it comes to technical analysis. Like, we don't take this lightly. This is serious shit. So I actually have to, I'll be leaving you, and I'll be heading out to the local chapter of the International Association of W Lovers to review some W's coming to your neighborhood real soon. Okay. What do you think, boys? Shall we call it an evening? Did you enjoy the edutainment?
Yeah, it was good.
Definitely.
Hey, I can see you, Nick. Hey, there you are.
I put
great.
2 bright white screens on my monitors.
Okay.
So you can see me now.
Probably bugging your eyes. Sorry, dude. But at least I can see you now. You know, like, I like to tell jokes as I'm sort of talking away, and then I'll just look out of my corner of my eye and see if the boys are smiling at all. And if they're totally straight-faced, then it means that the joke died. So, what? What does that mean? I mean, shut
No,
the hell up?
that was a no. That joke didn't.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, there you go, Bert 2024. Oh yeah, you like Bert, eh? Local chapter 2024. All right, everybody, have yourselves a great afternoon, evening. By the way, you know, shameless plug. Might as well do it just because. What the hell? We're here. We have our latest school term starting here. And the enrollment is the official sort of onboarding week. Will start next week. We do have a raffle for a seat in our level 1 program. So if you are interested, please feel free to just come on this page. You can see it. It's just a course wait list, but this is what we use for our raffle. I'll put that over on the YouTube page. There is the link. And I suppose I'll try and put it in the description, although I'm really bad at that. But if you are interested, what the hell? It's a 12-week program that basically teaches you how to build a plan and how to sort of run a small business of trading, and then just gives you a nice basic introduction to various different technical analysis tools and 2 particular setups that I like to trade: one trend following and one range trading setup. As well, gives you a pretty good basis for technical analysis skill set, trade location tools, indicator confirmation tools, interpreting price momentum, interpreting volume momentum, And as I said, probably the more important thing is it teaches you the basics of how to run a business in this market, a business of trading where you actually expect to turn a profit. And what I really like about this page that the marketing people have put together is it's just such a nice cross section of various different video interviews and stuff we've done over the years, and testimonials from a bunch of different students that all sort of attest to the fact that the product's pretty good. I mean, I'm a bit of a weirdo. There's no doubt about it. I'm not normal. So if you can put up with me, some people find me amusing, other people find me a bit irritating. I can appreciate that. It's just the way life is. I think that the course material, though, is the sort of the combination of like 30 years of market experience. And so as a result, I think it's distilled and it's presented in a way that saves you a lot of time. And it tries to teach you the basic concepts that I took basically like 30 years to teach myself. If you don't want to listen to me and you're not convinced, maybe pop on the site and just have a read what other people say. We haven't asked anybody or scripted anybody to say any of this stuff. This is all totally people posted this and submitted these comments on their own, which makes me very, very happy because it just goes to show that this effort that I'm trying to put in to make a positive difference in this world is actually working. We'll see how it goes. The program works, but at the same time, too, I'm not here to make $1 million off of this school. Ironically enough, the school program was actually to do nothing more than fund the building out of this, which is actually my 1980s trading website signaling system brought into the 21st century. And now, I mean, I've got a bunch of capital to work with. Now that I've got this actually up and running, we don't even really need to run the school. The school speaks for itself. And a lot of people are just referred, hey, you want to learn how to trade, you want to do it right, just go to that Beamish guy and just, learn. There's no bullshit about it. But I will tell you, I'm not here to make $1 million off the school. If you enroll in the school's really pretty, I think it's pretty darn cheap. But if you take the program and you follow, like Oscar says there, you can make some really, really great money just following the principles that we teach. But I'm actually at the point now where I think I'm kind of, me personally, I'm probably going to sort of put all the pieces in place to have the school running and just, providing the information that I think is super valuable. But I'm actually probably going to concentrate more on my efforts just trading our models and trading going forward. So wish me luck, everyone. If you want to come by the site, there's 30-day trial. So, you can sit and, people who want to take advantage of us, they can keep renewing those 30-day trials. It's cheeky, but hey, if that's what you need to do to feel like you're getting a piece of somebody else for free, okay. I'm not going to fight it too much. I really like the direction that my co-hosts here have taken over the past 6 months with me. Everything that I kind of hope to see happen with the school program is happening with all three of these. Like you even heard earlier, Nick is now talking like an old gnarly trader, fading people right, left, and center. So, I've often joked that my job is actually to turn all of you into the very people that you absolutely hate. So my job is to turn you into the institutional players, to turn you into the people that buy down markets and sell up markets, to turn you into the people that actually make money from trading. So if I can do that, then hey, I've done my job. So All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your participation tonight, gentlemen. Actually, you all got off pretty late. You didn't have to do a hell of a lot of talking tonight, did you?
We forgot the spreadsheet.
Oh, wow. We got to do one more thing.
Sorry,
don't we?
real quick, let's do it.
All right. So we're going to make our big prognostications. And you just heard Beamish going on there for an hour or 2.5 hours. And yet he still can't get the fucking market direction right. What the fuck's wrong with this guy? So it just goes to show, right? Half of what I do is I'm a statistician. I don't even try to predict the future. Predicting the future is just you're wasting your time. But it's a lot of fun to actually show the public how terrible we all are at predicting what's going to happen here, isn't it? Has anybody actually got this spot on correct? I don't
Nope.
know. So, with that said, here we go. Who was that? Since Ben, you were MIA, I think you get the first whack at it. Where are we going to be 1 week from today?
I'm gonna put a 0.
0. All right. So Bitcoin price is going to 0. Well, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
All right. So you think a big hurry up and do nothing week, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
that means,
in between it could be volatile. It could be going up and down, but I feel like maybe we'll be around about here next week.
Okay. And a 0 implies what? Less than 1% move either way? Is that how we're doing this?
Oh, is that what it is? Less
I don't
than
know.
1%?
I mean, I think we've been doing like 2 or 3. If it's within like plus or minus 2 or 3, we've been calling it a 0. 3 to 5, 3 to 7 has been a 1, and more than that's been a 2.
Okay. So then, because remember, okay. So, and then, so 1% right now is $435.
Yep.
So we'll say less than $1,000. That gets a 0.
Yeah, I think so. Plus or minus 1,000.
Okay, I can live with that. All right, Derek, what do you say?
I'm going -1.
Oh, Derek's.
I think we're going to be looking left next week over this next week.
Oh boy.
And plus, I think Michael Saylor probably wants to pick up some more Bitcoin, so he's probably hoping for lower. And
Kim
institutions.
Kardashian's coming after him, though, right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah. But if it does go lower, he'll definitely buy some more. So I guess we can count on that for a little bit.
He'll probably do like
support
another
there.
financing, right? And then he'll pile it all into Bitcoin.
He is the support. So
Yeah. All right, Nick, what's your call?
I don't know. We're sitting right above support. I'm going to do another positive number and probably be wrong again.
Oh, you bastard.
I like where Derek's going with this, but
Yeah, but we need you to minus vote so the damn market will go up.
don't worry. I will when it's time. No, I mean, I'm the perfect like sentiment for the public is once I give up, then it goes back up.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
I'm almost ready to put a 2, but we're going to put a 1. We're going to put a 1. We're going to get a bounce here.
All right. Oh, Jesus. So you basically cemented us into another losing week. Thanks, man. Just kidding. All right. 43.5. Man, I can't believe I was within like 2 or 3 hours of being just totally cool. Now I look like a doofus. What the hell are we going to do here? I don't know whether I can really get... I mean, the problem is what are we going to do 1 week from now here? Oh, goodness. I don't know whether I see much more downside. Because actually, I think this was like AB.
Yeah, we hit that almost exactly.
And then CD, eh? Doink. So, I don't know whether I really expect to see a lot more downside before I pop back up. What I want to say is I think we're just going to be like literally coming right back up into this area. But I don't want to come across as like hopium. Yeah, that's a tough one. But, got to put your neck in the noose, eh? So, you said that within 1% 2% either direction is still a 0? So
Yeah.
like $1,000 either way would still.
I think
get us-
$1,000 is a zero.
All right, so $1,000. So there's there versus there. So by next Wednesday, are we further away from here than either of those? Well, man, that's tough. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't really say one way or the other. If anything, I think I just have to go with a zero, which is kind of a cop out answer. I can't see either one way or the other. I like the idea of the market bouncing, but I can't really see it, so I'm just gonna say zero. And like I said, that's really more a cop out answer. That's an answer that I don't know. I can't really come up with one, but I'll go with a zero and let's see how that turns out. We never looked at that time, did we? I think
We're
that
supposed to
time
do that
got
on
punched,
February
didn't it?
20th.
I think that.
Don't
thing
worry,
came off
I'm
a
keeping
bit.
track.
All right.
We've got another month.
All right. Okay, so now that is officially two. Actually, that must be a number for me today, eh? Because the daily brief was about 2 hours and 40 minutes, and here we are. This is about 2 hours 40 minutes. So, all right. I hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast here today. I see there's a number of likes. I suppose do us a favor on YouTube and hit the like button and all that kind of fun stuff. Subscribe. Ring Colleen's bell, we used to always say. I hope Colleen's doing well these days. Any closing thoughts? I don't know. Why don't we we'll go around the table. Ben, any closing thoughts this week?
No, nothing in particular. Yeah.
All right. Is there anything that we should be like looking out for in crypto land? How's your I guess we'll leave you. I don't know, Ben, did you want to add anything?
I didn't have anything in particular to add to the conversation. Yeah.
What did you have a favorite crypto? What was your favorite crypto? I remember Derek's was HBAR, right? Isn't that sort of your favorite one, Derek?
I guess it's one of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that.
Did you have like a favorite crypto, Ben, that you like to follow? And has there anything been really that
I mean,
you're excited about?
over the last month or so, I've been keeping my eye on that OHM.
Yeah.
Just kind of watching it and
anything to look forward to? Maybe in the coming weeks, think about that. If you have like an FA driver or something that you want to let the public know about on your favorite story, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Derek, any closing thoughts?
No, not really. Don't take no wooden nickels.
I wonder how you take a wooden crypto. That would be kind of interesting, eh?
Yeah.
And HBAR. Anything happening with your HBAR?
No, so my two favorites are probably HBAR and Theta.
Theta, yeah. I haven't heard you talk much
Theta
about
was one of
Theta
the. I mean, no really fundamental drivers for either one at the moment. I mean, I know that they're in terms of building, adding partners. Well, I guess HBAR did have some news. They added a new partner, I guess, to their group. It's ServiceNow, which I guess does a lot of back office sort of software for like major corporations and stuff like that. They claim to be using HBAR now, so that's something out there.
Okay. And are you guys finding that crypto is actually getting a little bit more mainstream these days?
I mean, I think it's probably gaining a little bit of traction in terms of actual businesses using it or trying to implement it. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. And Nick, last but not least, what do you think, dude? Any final thoughts? Any words of wisdom for this audience?
Kind of happy the Cosmos ecosystem might be getting its day in the sun.
Cosmos, this is one of the one, Adam, this one was on our leaderboard forever, eh? Just charging higher.
Yeah, the
Kind of ran
whole
into a
ecosystem,
brick wall up top here, though, eh?
Yeah, it ran into some resistance at near all-time highs, but I mean, there's a lot of coins there that have been doing like the Akash that you took a stab at that you were waiting for it to get back
This
up.
thing, I got to get out of this thing now.
I mean, it was about back up to your buy levels, I think, before the crash today.
Yeah.
It was getting close.
Anywhere in here I could probably just hop off, but this was a failed idea from my perspective. I don't think this was a failed idea. I think you did pretty well on this, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't buy at the bottom, but if you buy at the bottom, that's about exactly a 2x. So, But I mean, I got into one of their exchanges, like a Uniswap or a Sushi Swap on Osmosis, and that's been doing really well lately too. So it's been good.
That's good. So that you bought the Sushi Swap? Is that what you said?
No, it's something like a Uniswap or a Sushi Swap, but over on Cosmos.
Oh, okay, and it's done well.
Yeah, it's done pretty well over the last few weeks, and I'm getting a lot of yield on it as well. So it's like a double win.
Oh, okay. Well, so I'd be really interested to see how this plays out because, so I want to keep tabs on you over the next few years just because I remember all the ADA people last cycle. They were saying, man, getting insane payouts in ADA, and then, of course, the price collapsed and those insane payouts kind of disappeared.
Yep.
So
that is a worry.
I'm really curious to see how this plays out this particular cycle. So, and also too, if I understand correctly, you're going to be heading off, and we got to find a new show co-host. But you're in the
after level 3.
So you're just entering the level 3 now, right?
Yep.
All right, so we still got you for another few months, so that's good. I guess the one we got to kick out of here soon is Derek, that slacker. So,
how many applications did you get?
Actually, I haven't really asked anybody. I haven't asked anybody, and frankly speaking, I'm not in a hurry to kick you out. It's just
okay. I thought you...
Nick. Remember, Nick said recently that he was thinking about hitting the hills. So,
well, I think when we started, we kind of said, at least like when we had talked, I was like, well, I'll go through when I'm in the education program. Then when I graduate, somebody can kind of take my place.
It's a great idea.
Yeah,
absolutely. And besides, you don't want to work with me too long. What I find is that if I work with somebody over a year or two, maybe 2 or 3 years, then the honeymoon's over and it sucks. So if anything, you just want a little slice of Beamish before the honeymoon ends. So enjoy the honeymoon, gentlemen. All right. God, can Brian stop talking? Yeah, it sure is difficult, eh? Thank you so much for your participation this evening, gentlemen. It was great hanging out with the three of you, although I can't really see Nick too well, but I think he's still there. So, yeah, there he is. Big thumbs up. All right. So, thank you so much, guys. I don't know who's... I can't remember. Well, Ben, you weren't here last week, so why don't you take us on out of here? I hope you enjoyed that. Hit the like button, subscribe, consider joining our school program. If you got some value out of this and you'd like to help us fund that Decentraland booth, maybe consider donating to our ETH page in the description. And we've got the raffle for the level 1 coming up, so feel free to join that reservation list for your potential to win that seat. So, as soon as Brian stops talking, we will let Ben take us on out of here. So the only thing left for us at TRI to say tonight is...
Bye for now.